Born in Florence, Italy, during a time of great artistic growth and political turmoil, Dante Alighieri, Alighieri ranks among the greatest writers of all time. His vision of the three realms of Catholic underworld, hell, purgatory, and paradise, achieved immediate attention and continues to enjoy enduring popularity. The Algiers were a fairly distinguished family, and Dante found himself immersed in the pursuit of both art and politics from a young age. He studied and wrote poetry, joyful associating himself with the literary figures of his time. Yet later in life, as an elected official, he could not ignore or escape the political turbulence that was rife in Florence. In 1301, while away from Florence on an official mission, Dante soon learned that his city was overtaken by his political rivals and that he was sentenced to death. For the remainder of his life, he lived in exile. It was during his 20-year period of anguish, sorrow, bitterness that Dante penned the Commedia. From 1308 to 1320, Dante worked on his masterpiece, an epic that is both personal as well as universal in scope, treating such general themes as good versus evil and free will versus predestination. Dante also managed to gain a measure of personal satisfaction by avenging himself against those enemies who had forced him into exile. Written as an allegory, the Divine Comedy possesses both a literal reality and a symbolic one. Literally, the epic tells how Dante himself must journey through the circles of hell and purgatory before he can reunite with his muse, Beatrice, and his God in paradise. Figuratively, the journey of the Divine Comedy is the soul's spiritual quest for salvation, the recognition of sin, hell, the rejection of sin, and the waiting period for redemption, purgatory, then union with God through faith in divine revelation, paradise. Along his journey, Dante encounters historical figures, mythological persons and creatures, and contemporaries from his own era. Writing this while in exile, Dante probably felt as if his own situation was at its nadir, the only worst condition perhaps being death itself. So he called upon one who inspired him throughout his life, Beatrice Portinari. Dante's first meeting with Beatrice came when the poet was a mere 9 years old. From the point onward, he was smitten. Well, they met again briefly some 9 years later. Beatrice died, and she and Dante never did embark upon any kind of relationship together. Her spirit, however, dominated his emotional, religious, and writing life. In fact, his first work, La Vita Nova, was a tribute to her memory. The opening of the Inferno, readers discover that it is Beatrice who masterminds Dante's rescue by sending Virgil to assist Dante, leading him away from the dark wood of error. And it is she who will ultimately guide Dante's underworld salvation and union with God. Epic poem is carefully planned and constructed. With regard to numbers, Dante composed 100 cantos or chapters because in medieval times 100 was considered the perfect number. After opening the Inferno with an introductory canto, each section of the Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso consists of 33 cantos. The poem itself is organized in three-line stanzas called tercets, and rhyme scheme is called terza rima, where the middle line of the tercet rhymes with the first and third of the next. In fact, the number 3 is significant in so many ways throughout the text. Imitating the concept of the Blessed Trinity, 3 persons in one God, Dante divides the Divine Comedy into 3 parts. A journey taken 3 days. The action is overseen by the 3 ladies. 3 beasts impeded his way into Canto 1. And there are, in fact, 3 deists in the 9th circle. Beyond numerical significance, one must also consider the language in which the Divine Comedy is written. Dante eschews the use of Latin for his epic, choosing instead to write in vernacular or the language of the people. He even committed that the use of everyday language was akin to a new light, a new sun, which shall rise, the accustomed one Latin shall set, and which shall give light to those in darkness, because the accustomed sun does not give the light entailed just the Commedia Divina was added at the 16th century. The work ended happily and avoided search over ornate language.